Good morning from beautiful Perth. Spring is definitely here. Oh my gosh, look at that. Woohoo! I thought I would record a little video here. Maybe if the wind is too noisy, then I'll have to just record another one later. Anyway, I'm here with the beautiful dogs who love the beach as much as I do. And being at the ocean always reminds me of the importance of right timing. You see those waves? If you've ever been in the ocean and you've wanted to surf a wave, then you just have to wait for the right moment to get on that crest and to ride that baby to shore. And if you miss it, maybe just a fraction of a second, if you go just a little bit too late or a little bit too, if you go too late, then you get dumped. If you go too early, then nothing happens. So the importance of right timing is all around us, especially when in nature. And I think this is such an interesting theme at the moment, definitely in my life, and I'm definitely seeing it playing out with everyone else that I've been interacting with as well. It's like divine timing and waiting. I am really curious, how do you feel about waiting, having to wait? Is waiting easy for you? Is waiting frustrating for you? Do you like to just get in there and get on with it? Does waiting drive you crazy? Oh my gosh, I know as a child, my dad used to always tease me because he knew that at that time, patience was definitely not a well-developed muscle in me. And oh my God, he would say patience is a virtue. And of course, saying that would drive me even more into frustration. And it wasn't until really I started discovering quantum human design, and I thought this morning, wow, amazing. 6 months ago, I knew absolutely nothing about quantum human design, and now it's become a part of my life, and it is up-leveling everything, and I love sharing the insights of what I've been learning and what I've been integrating with others and seeing the impact it's having. And this topic of timing and divine timing comes up all the time. Whoops! I'm trying to get out of the wind. Let's see if that works. Anyway, so I just wanted to chat about that a little bit, because timing, one of the things that I've learned so far, having been on this journey of really surrendering into divine flow, has been an ongoing process anyway. But then when I discovered the quantum human design and realized that being a generator type, so in quantum human design I'm an alchemist, and part of the theme there, the learning style, is taking steps and then waiting until the time is right to take the next step. And while waiting, that is actually an opportunity to build momentum and to prepare what needs to be prepared. And so as I was getting ready for the quantum abundance reset, and I received this really pulse, this nudge of like, go, 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 ready to go. And then I had this amazing healing session that helped me to reset on a whole other level. And whenever I've had clearings and stuff like that, anytime that you have a change in your life, if you're releasing an old pattern or you're upgrading your beliefs, or you're deconditioning, you're clearing out the old ways of doing things, then your whole system has to recalibrate. Your thinking has to recalibrate, your emotional body has to recalibrate, your body has to recalibrate, your field has to recalibrate. And while the recalibration is happening, in the past anyway, I've been able to facilitate classes and sessions with people, no problem. However, after this other session that I had, it's like I realized that, whoa, not only was my energy recalibrating in my field, it was also requiring to be stabilized. And I had just sent a message out that we were going to start this 40 days, really excited, and I received messages with, yay, looking forward to this. And then, within 24 hours of sending this out with the start date, I realized I got this divine nudge. It's like you get a go signal. This was a go signal to actually pause for a moment and to allow my field to stabilize. Now, in the past, I would have pushed through this and said, well, I've set the date, we just got to do it, right? Even though I might have realized that, well, this may not be optimal. Anyway, having this awareness, this pulse to wait and to pause, and to then get the insight that, well, my field needed to be stabilized, because when you have one of these upgrades, whoops, oh my god, when you have one of these upgrades and resets on a big level, it changes everything. And then your field needs to be stabilized, your body needs to be stabilized, being in that new frequency field. And I realized that if I was going to go ahead and start before this process was completed in me, it would create a massive wobble, not just for me, but also for everybody who would be in the field joining me. So giving myself permission to be okay with changing the dates, even though that might be considered flaky, or God knows what other judgments I may have put on that myself before, and realizing, no, when the green light comes, we'll be ready to go. So how does waiting play in your life? And the interesting thing that I'm noticing is that it doesn't just apply to generator types. You know, if you're a manifesting generator or generator, which are the time benders or the alchemists in quantum human design, this is definitely part of our learning style, to wait, to respond when the time is right. Yet for anybody, any of the other types too, it's like, especially when you have to know when the time is right, whether that be through to share, you know, what you know, whether that is through being invited to share what you know, to speak, which requires waiting, and if you override that, then you'll be met with resistance, or you may find that people just don't hear what you have to share, or they judge you, or they ignore you, and you just don't feel seen and heard. You ever had that happen? It shows up in so many ways, and I think that this whole divine timing theme is something that we are collectively being really, really, really invited to step into and to learn to master this art. Especially because in society we've been so conditioned to do. And if you pause, then you can be considered lazy, you can be told that you're procrastinating, you can be told that you're sabotaging yourself. And while that may be true at times, trusting in divine timing is quite an adventure. I've had so many amazing experiences lately, like with up-leveling this. You know, I felt that I was really flowing with life rather well. And then, of course, whenever you get to one of those points, you discover there's more. So now it's springtime. Well, we had a lot of rain here in Perth a while back. And as I walked dogs as well, it was like, oh my God, some of these days I was like, how am I going to fit the dog walks in without getting completely drenched? And I would get this nudge. It's literally like a go, like, you know, the traffic lights, you get the green light. It's like I literally had a green light go off and say go. And it was bucketing down with rain. And I was like, okay, I'll go. I headed over to the dogs I was about to walk. And then, oh, look at that. That was a cute pooch. I'd go over to the dogs that I was about to pick up. And lo and behold, as soon as I had them on the leash and ready to go, the rain would stop. We would go for our walk for an hour. I'd drop them back home, and the moment that they were inside, boom, sky opened up and it would bucket down again. Now, you may say that that's a coincidence if it happens once, yet this was happening over and over and over again. And every time I'd go, really? Go now? Yes, go. And so like 8, 9 out of 10 times this worked. And I thought, well, this was just such a fun way to see how trusting divine timing really does work in our favor when we do go with it, right? So this applies to absolutely every area of life, of course. So let me know in the comments, how do you feel about waiting? What does having to wait stir up in you? And have you had experiences in your life where you knew that the timing wasn't right, and even though your mind was telling you to just go ahead and make it happen and push through it, you opted to wait and to allow whatever needed to happen to occur? And then when you did take the actions that you were going to take, then everything just flowed with so much more ease. You ever had those experiences? And is there an area in your life at the moment where maybe you're feeling, well, I'm having to wait and it's taking forever and nothing seems to be happening? What if you give yourself the gift of just giving yourself a bit of time to allow yourself to feel into what may need to be prepared, what can you prepare, whether that be something like taking care of your body. For me, going out for walks in nature, being in nature is just so important. Having baths and extra body care. I've had an incredible amount of extra healing support over the last few months, really helping my body. You know, when there's a lot of grief that we've all been processing collectively, and you may be picking up on stuff from others. It's like the world that, as you know, it's not as it used to be, and that will bring up grief. Relationships may have fallen apart. You may have lost people. You may have lost furry friends or other beings. You know, there's so much there, and oftentimes if we don't have the support in place, or people think, you know, nobody understands what you're going through, or you've been given a certain time frame where it's okay to grieve and then you're supposed to just get on with it. And if the grieving process is not complete, then guess what? It will wait until another opportunity arises to release this from the body. And I had another amazing experience there too, that a while back I had a very deep clearing, and I went to yoga, and when I was laying on the yoga mat, all of a sudden images of my dad, his last weeks and his last moments passed by, and my body was feeling the tears bubbling up. And it was really interesting. It wasn't sadness from emotional sadness or grieving the loss of that. It was actually my physical body was releasing the sadness and the grief of not having his physical presence nearby, even though I feel him energetically. It's interesting, isn't it? So when we allow that to happen, it's like that was the last bit, for that aspect anyway, that I felt needed to be cleared from the body. And when the body feels safe enough, when you feel safe enough that you are supported to be who you really are, then whatever has been suppressed and denied and held back and is given the space to simply be, it's quite remarkable how fast and efficiently and with so much grace and ease the body can actually release that stuff. So anyway, that's this beautiful morning here. It's a glorious day. What are you waiting for? And how do you feel while you're waiting? And you'll know when something, if there is something that you are to be doing, if there's an action step you've got to take and you're holding back because fear gets in the way, you know, maybe fear of the past repeating itself, maybe fear of the future, maybe fear of failure, fear of success, goodness knows, whatever else, fear of letting others down. You'll know when it's that. And if you're not clear, then you can ask, okay, am I holding myself back here because it's divine timing? Because the timing isn't right? Or am I holding myself back because there's some fear that needs to be acknowledged and addressed and released and transformed? Food for thought. Anyway, if any of this resonates with you, then you will absolutely love the 40-day Quantum Abundance Reset. I'll put a link below. You can join the waiting list. And when we get the cosmic green light to go, then get ready for an amazing ride. Amazing journey. I feel the stabilizing, and I already feel like I'm ready to go, and I know my feel's not quite ready yet. It will be, so depending on when you're watching this, we may already be on our way, or maybe starting soon. I look forward to seeing you, and when you sign up for the waiting list, then it literally starts your pre-40-day journey, as I'll be sharing some practical tips to help prime the pump and get you ready. Have an amazing day. Enjoy the beauty that is all around us. And I'll see you again soon.